and all of these older nannies are bred. They've been exposed for well over 30 days. We do have one more group to put in here of nannies, Karakachan group of nannies. We haven't put them in here yet, but these are mostly all the girls and pretty much all the kids too.
About how big he is on his hind legs. He's almost as tall as me. I'm 5'4". So he is an intact male. We will be breeding him to both his female partner that we got with him, as well as our other one, Beth, that you guys have seen before. And
Alrighty, we're out here. This fence has been up for probably
a year
or more than that. So we're gonna run through here. It has not been hot. We left this up as a straightaway shot. This pen is probably one of the largest pens that we've set up. It's well over 40 acres and it takes a while to put up. So we left it up. We mixed some weed sprayer. We're gonna spray some of these spots on the fence. We've never done it like this before, but instead of taking it down and moving it over where we shredded, we're gonna try it out like this and let it sit for a day or two, let it die out, then we'll get it hot, and whatever's still alive will get burnt out by the charger. So this should save us probably about 2 hours worth of setup time. We've got some more fence we're gonna put up to close it in, and yep, that is the task for today. Bringing in some more dog power. Checking her out. Oh yeah, girl power. All
girls, except for one. A lot of butt sniffing. This is usually how it goes when we put all the dogs together that haven't been together. There's a little growling, a little posturing, but overall, it's really not that big a deal. And Bonnie's just coming out of her heat cycle. Beth is in the middle of her heat cycle. This is Beth. So there's hormones going, but we really are very lucky that all our females really get along and don't try and kill each other. Some people have a really hard problem with their guard dogs not liking one another, like female to female, but we really haven't had problems with the girls. It's more of the boys. But overall, everyone can go together. It's just they will have a not a huge deal.
So it is a little bit of overkill, maybe some might think. Dog power, firepower here. This is a pretty big pasture. We kind of rushed putting them in here. It's about 40 acres, and there's a lot of creek bed in here, a lot of creeks and crannies, a lot of woods. So we did rush putting them in here. So we don't know what all's in here still. The first night we put them in here, the next morning we had a bunch of fence down. So the dogs definitely chased them out, whatever was in here, whether it was pigs or whatever. The dogs were they did not get out. They stopped right at the fence and got back to their goats. So we'll probably keep this amount of dogs in here for at least the first couple of weeks or so, and then we might kick back down. We did breed Bonnie to our biggest male, Coda.
Anatolian puppies.
Anatolian puppies. We'll show some photos, slideshow here in a second of those, side by side.
This is one of Bonnie's puppies right here. She'll be going to her new home soon.
What's her name?
Missy Coyote.
Missy Coyote.
First and middle, I believe, is her. That's her.
So yeah, we got a lot of dogs in here, but like I said, we'll probably kick them down here, or maybe just leave them in here.
And all these dogs have been through a kidding cycle except for Missy. cycle where she was, you know, old enough to be with them. So she hasn't been here for that, but she will be going to her new home before kidding starts. So she won't see her kidding with us, but I have no doubt that she'll do really well and be respectful of the moms. So she's a very submissive dog to the goats, and very, very, very sweet when it comes to that. Bonnie kind of stamps them with that personality, which is why we've gotten so many litters, or a couple litters from her, not so many, but we like using her because she does stamp them with a very, very sweet personality.
We usually put them in here around this time of year. They're going to be in here probably till about February, and we'll start to move them to a maybe into January, beginning of February. Then we'll move them to a new pasture where a lot of rye starts to come up in the March time frame. So they'll kid in that pasture. They won't kid in this pasture this year. Last year they did all of their kidding in this pasture. So we're going to try and change it up a little bit, but there's a lot of acorns starting to fall on the ground, a lot of leaves. We always talk about it this time of year, but something to very much watch out for is as they're taking in a lot of these acorns and leaves, you got to watch out for their tannic acid. So it's important. I mean, out here it's pretty eaten up, but the cows and stuff have eaten it up. But in there, there's some good grass and stuff in there to balance out that rumen, so that way as they're eating these leaves and these acorns, they're not getting too much of that load of tannic acid in their rumen. And probably about a week or two, we'll come out here, we'll throw a little bit of hay just to make sure that they're getting a good balance, because that acid can cause sickness and cause abortion. And all of these older nannies are bred. They've been exposed for well over 30 days. We do have one more group to put in here of nannies, Karakachan group of nannies. We haven't put them in here yet, but these are mostly all the girls and pretty much all the kids too. We're very excited for this kidding season to come up and see. We bred Karakachan, we bred Snape, we bred Salsa. Those are the three main billies we used. We'll throw some pics in a slideshow here of the billies that we used over these nannies. Very excited to see the outcome of them, but you can see they're eating leaves, they're eating the leaves that are falling, they're eating the grass, they're eating mesquite trees that are coming up. But that right there is pretty much what it looks like everywhere. Some of these kids are big enough to breed. Probably in about 30 days, maybe even a little less than that, we're gonna put in a billy by the name of Huevo. He is a younger billy. He's a little bit smaller in size. He's only 2 years old. So we'll put him in here, and for whatever reason, if our three main herd sires didn't cover their nannies, that billy will clean up, and he will also cover the nanny kids that are big enough to breed. So, you know, maybe between December 1st and December 15th, we'll put him in here and look at December, January, February, March, April, May, middle of May kids. So not late enough, not too late in the hot season. But let me see if I can find a nanny kid like that nanny kid here in about a month or so. She'll come in the heat and she'll be big enough. But you can see in the past what they do to cedar trees. They've been in this pasture twice over the last 2 years, and that cedar tree they demolished. So hopefully we keep coming in here years after year after year, and they keep attacking cedar trees. They get higher and higher, and eventually they kill out these cedar trees. And there's plenty of those in here. Same thing with mesquite trees and stuff. And all we'll leave back are these pretty big oak trees. Clear up some of that underbrush, let that grass come in. You can see all this underbrush, it's all gone. That tree right there, it's all gone. Beth here is one of our full-blooded Karakachan livestock guardian dogs. We recently got 2 more, another female and now a male, so both are breeding age. Now all 3 of them are breeding age actually. So in the future we will have full-blooded Karakachan livestock guardian dogs.
We may be dabbling in some registered dogs and fading out the non-registers. We're not sure yet. We'll kind of see how they do and how we like them. So far Beth's been great, so I have no complaints. And the 2 we just got, they're acclimating but doing well. So we will see. Future will tell.
But overall, even the non-registered crossbreeds have done amazing. At the end of the day, if they're working and they're doing their job, that's all that matters to us. Here's a goat here with a lot of cashmere. She started getting a lot of cashmere probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she's just getting more and more as temps drop. It's been getting down to, I don't know, maybe about 40 at night. 40, I think the lowest I've seen it get is about 38 degrees, and it's getting all the way up to 70, 75 during the day, maybe even 80. There are cooler temps coming up in forecast, so she's definitely one with that cashmere genetic. It's always cool to see their coats change in the winter time. In the summertime, she is a kind of a chocolate colored. Not so much red like Dory there, but a little bit darker, kind of like her Billy Kerjack. She, I think, is a Kerjack daughter. But then in the winter time, in the fall time, she gets looking like that. Pretty cool transformation to watch. Like I said, I was gonna put that cleanup billy in here just in case. We've always had very good success that first cycle, putting in the billies with the nannies. Last year or this year I guess it would be, we had all the nannies kid within a 30-day window. But the main reason I'm putting in that younger billy is for these nanny kids that were born in March. I want to see these nanny kids start developing at a younger age. This nanny here, right there, that's one. The one back there too. This one there, this one there. That paint right there. The one behind her, both those 2 back there are all good sized kids. Let me see if I can close some distance here and show y'all. That's a good sized kid here. She's gonna be big enough to get covered. All these here, that's a kid, this is a kid, this is a kid, that's a kid up there, this is a kid right here, all from March. And then you do get some smaller girls. These genetics have been closed since the 80s, so it's a lot of line breeding going on, so sometimes they do take a long time to develop in size, and sometimes you get those freaks of nature and they just develop a lot quicker. But something we are willing to wait for with these genetics is to watch them develop. We don't jump the gun on the size too quick. We don't throw them to the wolves, and we watch them develop. We wait for about 18 months and see what they look like. But then these ones that are obviously old enough or big enough in size to cover, they're going to get covered. That's what we want to start expressing in the gene pool, is that earlier development.
Okay, so his name is Rip, but we're gonna be changing it to Dip because we already have a Rip, and so it's just close enough that he really won't be able to tell the difference. So he is a registered Karakachan. So he is a big old boy. I'd like a little more weight on him, but we just got him from someone else. We bought him as a pair, and so here's about how big he is on his hind legs. He's almost as tall as me. I'm 5'4". So he is an intact male. We will be breeding him to both his female partner that we got with him, as well as our other one, Beth, that you guys have seen before. And Beth is a liver and white, and he's a black and white. For the most part, I imagine we're gonna have a lot of black and whites. I'll be surprised if we have some livers. So we're still working on the cat thing. He's not mean to him, but we try not to have the dogs chase the cats. No. Just because we don't like the keys get hurt. And then we have Lucy. She's the bit more timid one of the two we got. Dip, aka Rip, is very much the outgoing one of the two. You wanna come in? So Lucy here, I thought she was very pretty. Everyone seems to really like Rip dip pattern, and I really liked Lucy's when I saw a picture of her. She's kind of got a mottled look, just a lot of freckles in it, and so she's the more standoffish dog. She's a bit more nervous, but I haven't seen her do much wrong with the goats or anything like that. Of course, they're still adjusting, and we'll give them time to adjust. But both of them are registered. They're unrelated, and we will be getting puppies from them. I think Lucy might be bred already. She should have been bred within the last month, so we'll see if we have puppies here soon or if she goes into heat. We'll be watching her pretty closely to see if she does go through a heat cycle. She does know, let me see, and she'll kind of roll on her back and let you rub her belly and kind of give her a once over, which I also really like, just because I like checking on all the dogs and making sure there's no injuries or anything like that. So these are our two new dogs, Rip Dip and Lucy.
And they were both exposed to goats their whole life, right?
Yes, they grew up with goats and things like that. I would not say they are chicken safe at all. I did have to take a chicken from them. So they'll learn, and they've been doing better. The biggest thing with him is not pushing through the gate. And they have not gotten out or tried to jump a fence. So overall, we're very pleased with them as adult dogs, because we usually do not buy adult dogs. We're kind of done at that part of our lives. We like to raise our own at this point. But they seem to be fitting in well. We haven't introduced them to any of our guard dogs. They've just been around our goats. So once we do that, I'm sure there'll be a couple of scuffles, but nothing that we should worry too much about. They'll work it out. They always do. So we'll see where they fit best. He seems more like a patroller, and she seems like she wants to be with the herd for the most part. But you just never know as they acclimate with us and get to know us. But obviously they're comfortable enough around us not to run away. So we're excited to see where it goes.
And they're in here with the wethers. So they're in here with some of these smaller wethers that'll be going to market here in about a month or so. And as you can see, they're very acclimated to the goats. They've been with goats their whole life, like Tyler said. They're about 3 to 4 years old, so they got some miles under their belt. They got some experience.
But I've been separating them off when I feed the wethers, just because I don't want any food aggression. I did notice that there's a little bit of food aggression, but that's very normal with the guard dogs, to protect their food. It's just an instinctual thing to do a little bit of resource guarding on some of these.
And we're still trying to learn their characteristics, right? That's why we got them separated every now and then.
Yes, and so we want to keep them separate just so we can
learn what kind of dogs they are.
And they're not broke to hot fence. I do know that. I spoke with the old owner, and but that's usually a very easy thing to break them of. It takes one time, usually.